During the Biden administration, there was this framing about democracy versus autocracy. I mean, clearly the Chinese has a different governing system than ours. They have a way of dealing with their citizenry that they think, pertains to their particular way of managing their country. We don't want them to manage our country that way, but I don't think that this AI race necessarily extends to Chinese government imposing their ideology on the United States or anyone else. So I think that that's just a mistaken way of thinking about this issue. And it sort of over embellishes and causes a lot of resources to be spent and a lot of costs to be borne by the U.S. that aren't going to pay off.
First off, Susan, we got to take what they say about themselves, right? The Chinese government has made it very clear in their own documents, oftentimes in English, that they are trying to use their a mastery in a number of technologies in order to surpass the United States as the global superpower, right? Now, whether we want to call that ideological, economic, they are trying to displace us there. And how are they going to do that? If these tools are designed with their belief system entwined in it, and we have to start using that, it will have an impact on us, right? We can. I know this is not a debate about TikTok. I'm sure y'all probably done one before.
We have actually.
But the use of those tools to try to influence our society, and that is to me is ideological, because they are trying to imprint how they do business on site, and we know how they've adopted technology before. We know that, yes, it's a lot easier to pay for stuff in China than it is in the United States because everybody has to use the same thing. But we also know that they're using that to control their population.
Paul?
But when we talk about this idea that China wants to overthrow the so-called rules-based international order, which the other side seems to be implying here, we have to be very careful about what that means. China, for example, participates in many parts of that global order now and has been successful, for example, in the global financial system. So there are many parts of that global order. Some of them China accepts and has benefited from. Some of them China is uncomfortable with and would like to change, and some of them it rejects. But China's there's the evidence that China wants to overthrow and replace the U.S. For example, in the international global order, I think is misplaced.
I would definitely say that it is ideological, and that even if we might not feel an ideological competition, absolutely our competitors in the Chinese government, as my partner so definitely pointed out, do see it that way. When we have a government trying to remake the world in its own autocratic image, it's hard not to think of these things through an ideological light.